The Tarim River, known in Sanskrit as the Śītā, is the principal river of the Xinjiang Uygur Autonomous Region in the People's Republic of China. It gives its name to the Great Tarim Basin between the Tian, Shan and Kunlun mountain systems of Central Asia. It is the longest inland river in China with an annual flow of 4 to 6 billion cubic meters or 158.5 cubic meters per second. Its basin is home to nearly 10 million Uyghur and other ethnic minorities. Geography and hydrology. The Tarim River and most of its tributaries flow down from the Himalayas. The name Tarim is applied to the river formed by the union of the Aksu River, flowing from the north, and Yarkand River, coming from the southwest, near the Aral city in western Xinjiang. The third river, the Koshka River, comes to the same junction area from the south, but it is usually dry at this location, as it has to cross the Taklamakan Desert to get here. Another river of western Xinjiang is the Koshka River, which falls into the Yarkand River some 37 kilometers upstream from the Yarkand's merger with the Aksu. By another definition, however, Tarim starts at the Koshka-Yarkand merger, and Aksu, then, is considered just a tributary of the Tarim. The Tarim flows in an eastward direction around the northern edge of the Taklamakan Desert. It receives another tributary, the Musat River, from the north. However, out of these four rivers, only the Aksu flows into the Tarim year-round. It is the Tarim's most important tributary, supplying 70 to 80% of its water volume. The word Tarim is used to designate the bank of a river that flows into a lake or that is not able to be differentiated from the sands of a desert. This is a characteristic hydrographic feature of many rivers that traverse the sands of the Taklamakan Desert. Another characteristic of the rivers of the Tarim Basin, including the Tarim River itself, is their active migration, that is, the shifting of the beds and banks. The total length of the Yarkand-Tarim River system is 2,030 kilometers, although as the Tarim frequently changes its channel, the length tends to vary over the years. It is shallow, unsuitable for navigation, and because of its heavy silt load, forms a braided stream near its terminus. Prior to the completion of reservoirs and irrigation works in the mid-20th century, the Tarim's waters eventually reached L'Opénua. The river's waters now drain intermittently into Taitema Lake, which is located about 160 kilometers southwest of L'Opénua. The area of the Tarim River Basin is about 557,000 square kilometers. A considerable part of the Tarim's course is unformed, following no clearly defined riverbed. The water volume of the lower course of the river diminishes as a result of extensive evaporation and water diversion schemes. The Tarim's low water period is from October through April. The spring and summer high waters begin in May and continue through September as the snows melt on the distant Tian, Shan and Kunlun mountains. The lower Tarim Basin is an arid plain composed of alluvium and lake sediments and is bordered by massive mountain ranges. The basin is the driest region of Eurasia. The predominant part of it is occupied by the Taklamakan Desert, whose sand area exceeds 270,000 square kilometers. In addition, there are several comparatively small sand massifs with areas of from 780 to 4,400 square kilometers. Sand dunes are the predominant relief. Precipitation in the Tarim Basin is extremely scanty, and in some years it is non-existent. In the Taklamakan Desert and in the L'Opénua Basin, the average annual total of precipitation is about 12 millimeters. In the foothills and in several other areas of the river's basin, the precipitation amounts to from 50 to 100 millimeters a year. In the Tian Shan it is much wetter, precipitation often exceeds 510 millimeters. Maximum temperatures in the Tarim Basin are about 40 degrees Celsius. The Tarim River freezes over every year from December through March. Flora and fauna. Vegetation in the Tarim Basin is mainly located along the river and its branches. There are, at the edge of the sands, shrub-like vegetation and stunted trees, especially wormwood, are found. Gay poplar forest grows in the Tarim River valley. Underbrush consists of willows, sea buckthorn, and dense growths of Indian hemp and Ural licorice. The Tarim River is rich in fish and animal life on the river, and the surrounding desert is varied. At the time of Sven Hedden's visit in 1899, tigers were still being hunted and trapped along the rivers of the region and near Openua. The valley and lakes of the Tarim are a stopover for many migratory birds. Human use. Despite the Chinese government's promotion of large-scale irrigation, oasis agriculture remains the mainstay of the scattered settlements in the region. Grains, cotton, silk, fruits, and wool are the chief agricultural products, and Khotan jades are the only other important item. Little is exported from the basin, but local surpluses find a market among travelers passing through when conditions permit. Chinese authorities in the northwestern region of Xinjiang are relocating hundreds of ethnic minority farming families along the dwindling Tarim River. By 2008, more than 6,000 households along the river will have been resettled and cultivation forbidden along the river banks, in an attempt to save 60 million cubic meters of water. History. Some Chinese originally considered the Tarim to be the upper course of the Yellow River, but, by the time of the former Han dynasty, it was known that it drains into Openua, a series of salt lakes. Its total length is 2,030 kilometers. Suggested reading. Baumer, Christoph. 2000. Southern Silk Road, in the footsteps of Sir Aurel Stein and Sven Hedden. White Orchid Books. Bangkok. Mallory, J.P. and Mayer. Victor H. 2000. The Tarim Mummies, Ancient China and the Mystery of the Earliest Peoples from the West. Thames and Amp. Hudson. London.